South India's #1 travel brand. You know you are special when you're with GT Holidays.
Darling 2025 New Year deals. Latest smartphones at lowest EMI.
குறைந்த விலை நிறைந்த தரம் தங்கள் தேவைகள் அனைத்தும் ஒரே இடத்தில் ஜெயச்சந்திரன்.
Hello and welcome to Galatta Plus. In this video review episode, we are going to be talking about Shiva's Kanguva. This film stars Suriya. It wants to be an epic, but that takes more than just bigness of scale. The film feels like a series of disconnected scenes put together, even though on paper, there is a superb emotional core. Everything lacks that little extra that's needed to take the generic stuff to great stuff. The rest of this review may contain spoilers, so do watch at your own discretion. Now, I'm going to begin by talking about a scene just after the interval of Kanguva. This happened centuries ago, and Kanguva, that is the Suriya character, he makes a promise to a young boy. Now, Kanguva is a tribal leader, and the promise that he makes to this boy is that the boy can have what he wants, but first Kanguva has to save his people, his race. What the boy wants, this transaction actually, it is the stuff of epics. It is right out of mythology, and I wondered why that wasn't the interval point. Why wasn't something this epic, this emotional, this specific the interval point? But then you look back at the interval point and then you see that that is a rather generic image of Surya standing upright and giving a cry to war. What comes just after the interval is a highly specific moment, whereas what comes just before interval is a typical mass moment that is extraordinarily generic, and that sums up everything that's a little problematic about Kanguva. It is a surface level epic. It forgets that epics are made of emotions and action and not just action scenes alone. The first 30 odd minutes of Kanguva are set in Goa, and we meet this character of Suriya plays called Francis, and these scenes give tough competition to the Varmam scenes in Indian too. They are really something. Now, for no apparent reason, the Suriya is a bounty hunter and his partner is played by Yogi Babu. His lover is played by Disha Patni and her partner is played by Redin Kingsley. Now, these portions are so wannabe hip that they're painful to watch, with the screen being painted with graphics like in the early Shankar movies. At one point, for some generic reason, Francis and Co are taking a walk and the screen says 5:30 p.m. in graphics, and for no apparent reason, because it wouldn't matter if it is 5:29 p.m. It would not matter if it is 5:31 p.m. Or maybe this is a hint that that is what the duration of the film is going to feel like. That is 5:30 is really 5.5 hours. Now, I know that is terrible, that is trolly, and I don't like to get trolly in my reviews, but Kanguva really tests the goodwill that you have towards a project that has spent so much time and money and effort towards creating something that Tamil cinema has not given us before. Now, there are so many questions here. Why is Kovai Sarla speaking in American accented Tamil, or is it Goa accented Tamil? Why is it funny that Yogi Babu is in a hot tub surrounded by 3 women? And for that matter, who in this kind of tonality of a movie gives Yogi Babu the job of a bounty hunter and gives him a machine gun and not make us sure whether we're supposed to be watching comedy or is he doing action? Why does the villain played by Bobby Deol have such a generic arc? Do audiences still care about dancing duets like YOLO, which are supposed to be cool and colorful, when we are itching to get to the bloody, intense scenes ahead? Why are the action scenes filled with so much slow-mo that they dull the visceral effect of the action that we're supposed to feel? And whose idea was that crocodile attack? And with that CGI text at the end, are we meant to think that Surya was fighting off a real 6-foot-long reptile? The modern day portions have a boy who has X-Men like powers. He's a mutant kind of person. And there is a solid emotional connection, again on paper. Now, there is an emotional connection between the man and the boy in the past, that is Kanguva and the boy, and the man and the boy in the present, that is Francis and the boy. But all this emotion is only on paper. The film feels like a series of disconnected scenes cut and put together. There are no neat segues from one action scene to another, one emotion to another, one quiet moment to another. In fact, there are no quiet moments at all. Everything is so loud. I think they wanted a Viking era style movie, but that doesn't mean that people have to be screaming all the time. Adding to the whys, why do all the action sequences look so generic? And why is Surya, whose arc is barely developed in both portions, why is he encouraged to give such a monotonous one-note performance? Is it because subtleties are not allowed in epics? The story is about Kanguva trying to protect his people against an invading Roman army. The sets, the costume, the constantly roaming cinematography, the music, all of this is not bad, but all of this lacks that little extra that takes generic stuff into great stuff. Now, there are scenes with great potential. There is a scene with women battling it out in snow-covered landscape. There is a scene where an eagle takes a bloody message from a father to a son. It's a really, really good concept of a scene. And there is a scene where there's a setup for a sequel. And there is a scene where an action stretch in a mode of transport from an older era is intercut with an action stretch in a mode of transport from the modern era. But the way the film is structured, for instance, with the reveal at the end about a prince, why would we care about this prince when we barely know about the king who just died? Kanguva has lots of ideas, but they are lost in the naked ambition to be an SS Rajamouli style epic. The story is lost in the telling.
South India's #1 travel brand. You know you are special when you're with GT Holidays.
Darling 2025 New Year deals. Latest smartphones at lowest EMI.
குறைந்த விலை நிறைந்த தரம் தங்கள் தேவைகள் அனைத்தும் ஒரே இடத்தில் ஜெயச்சந்திரன்.